prayer must be learned. Now, at the point at which this disciple came to Jesus in Luke chapter 11, verse 1 to teach them to pray, they were already disciples of Jesus. They were already following Jesus. They had been with Jesus, for some time. Yet they found it important to come to Jesus Christ to ask him to teach them to pray. Amen. They saw the need, despite the fact that they have been with Jesus Christ for a while, they saw the need for them to be taught to pray. And this basically goes to demonstrate that prayer is not automatic. It is a discipline that grows through instruction and practice. These disciples, they were exposed to Jesus Christ. They saw Jesus Christ pray. They watched him pray. In fact, it was after Jesus Christ finished praying in Luke chapter 11, verse 1, that they asked him, Lord, teach us to pray. Amen. That means that they must have seen the consistency and the depth, of prayers in Jesus Christ, and that created a desire in them. You see, whatever it is, whatever good thing that you are exposed to in life over time and consistently will stir up a desire and a holy hunger in you to also want to have that kind of thing. John taught his disciples how to pray. John did not only teach the disciples generally, he also trained the disciples. Jesus Christ had been teaching these disciples all along, and even the multitude, but here they came to him that apart from preaching to us, they said, Lord, teach us to pray. And so it's a good example in leadership for a leader not only to teach his people, but also to train his people or his subordinates in the acts, of spiritual activities. They didn't necessarily have to come to Jesus Christ. If they felt that they had known too much and that desire for growth, was not there, they would not have come to Jesus Christ, to request him to teach them to pray. Amen. And so spiritual maturity begins at the point where a person admits the need to grow and also to seek guidance. Prayer is central and not optional. Now, of all the things that the disciples could have asked Jesus, they could have asked Jesus for miracles, they could have asked for power, they could have asked for preaching, but interestingly, the only thing they asked Jesus Christ to teach them in his lifetime is how to pray. Now, this reveals that prayer is fundamental to everything else. There is the right way to pray. You see, if there is no right way to pray, in Luke chapter 11, verse 1, they would not have asked Jesus Christ to teach them to pray. Amen. Prayer is not praying randomly. No. Prayer is not just talking. No. They asked Jesus Christ, they said, Lord, teach us to pray. Meaning that there are principles, there are patterns, and there are posture that you should take if your prayers are going to be very effective. The ultimate purpose of prayer is not just to have result, it is intimacy with God. And these disciples wanted the same intimacy.